My name is Mihai, and today alongside with my colleagues, Mihai is a popular name in our country, and George, we're going to try to tell you a story of what we have achieved in the last 3 years in our company. Basically, 3 years ago, our CIO came to DOES London and shared with you, or with the people who went to London, shared the plans about this transformation, about how we wanted to move from a traditional brick-and-mortar bank to a real tech company. Well, the story is that we didn't really achieve to be a tech company like Google is, but we did very, very good steps in that direction. Listen to the story and try to take away with you at home the good things and also the hiccups that we had. This is not a story in which we tell how smart we are and how good things we did. We just try to share with you our experiences and our knowledge and everything that we did in these 3 years so that your life, it would be easier from today onwards if you also want to do such a transformation. So again, if you want to see or to hear a great story, I don't think it will be a great story. I think it will be a good story. We just want to share some teachings with you. A couple of things about ourselves. So we are coming from Romania. Romania is a country in Eastern Europe bordering the Black Sea. It's roughly as big as the state of Idaho, and it has a population of 20 million people. Now about ourselves. So my name is Mihai Popa. I'm the head of a department which builds software for our engineers in ING. This is pretty rare for a bank, because usually banks don't invest in software and stuff like that. Now we're just starting. So basically, my department builds software for all the engineers in the bank. For people in the audience who try to sell me something, this is not a good news, because I'm not going to buy the products. I'm usually going to try to build them in-house. My background is in computer science, and currently I'm doing an executive MBA at Erasmus University in Rotterdam. My colleague George, he's the chapter lead, and we'll tell you a little bit later about what chapter lead is for the ops engineers. He works in fraud and cybersecurity, and he already graduated an MBA, so he's more advanced than me. And Mihai, he's the chapter lead. He's the chapter lead for dev engineers. He's a very passionate developer, more than 8 years of experience in software development, mainly in Java. And the three of us, we will try to share with you how we felt and what we've learned from this transformation. If I would be to tell you about what I'm doing in my day-to-day life at work, I use this metaphor. So I like to say that I'm the coach of a basketball team composed of Orange Lions. Of course, you might say, this is just a metaphor. Well, if you want to reduce it to something simple, yes, I'm a people manager, right? I'm doing people management. I'm working on strategy, on motivation, and stuff like that. If you would ask what's the difference between what I'm doing and what they are doing, they are more focusing on software engineering, on software engineers, and they are trying to develop the skills of a software engineer. Whereas myself, I'm trying to focus more on the strategy, more on the planning, on the communication, and let's say on the people aspect. A couple of words about our company. ING is a medium-sized bank. It's a Dutch bank. We have roughly 38 million active customers. We are like around 50 or 60,000 employees all over the world. The company has 4 segments: market leaders in the Benelux area. We have the growth markets in Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia, the challengers, and the wholesale banking. So you can see that we are present all over the world except Africa. Is there anyone from Canada here? Great. So some of you may have heard in Canada about ING. We have sold our stake to Tangerine, which I think still today is still the Orange Bank in Canada. So we were present in Canada. In the States, we are present only in wholesale banking. Now, what we try to do at ING is to empower people to stay a step ahead in business and in life. And we have tried to do this in the last years through different ways. This transformation itself is the living proof that we are trying to do this. Now, in the next slides, Mihai will tell you how we moved from the brick-and-mortar bank to more of an agile organization.
As Mihai mentioned, yeah, we are a bank, so we had to deal with people finance, and that's coming with a lot of risk and compliance points that we have to cover. If we focus now on how we're building software, if we look 10 and more years ago, yeah, we're doing kind of the same as everybody. We're running in a waterfall way. It was okay, it was working, except that we had a time to market which was too big. It was too big. For example, there are parts of our web which had only 4 releases per year. And you can imagine what happened if one of them failed. So we had a lot of pressure on ourselves from inside the company that we had to change something. It was not only the company, so the pressure from inside, but we looked outside. So yeah, let's talk about unicorns. So we have a lot of fintech unicorns which are delivering similar services with what we deliver in banking, but they are doing it faster. Yeah, they had a good reason for which they were doing it faster. They had no legacy behind them, so for them it was something freshly new. So putting these two things together, we've decided that we need to change. So as our CIO mentioned in London, it started in 2010, and it started with the mobile app. So we had to do a change. We had to make impact on mobile. Everybody these days is spending hours and even days on their mobile. So we started with 2 teams, which are purely doing agile development. That was amazing for them, but soon enough, we had hit the first, let's say, the first wall. We had the dev team, but we still had operations separate. We had to put these 2 silos inside the IT organization together. So you can imagine, yeah, we've moved to DevOps. So we put engineers together. So we removed the transition, the handover. So any kind of handover that was needed, it was gone. That came with also other benefits. I will mention them a little bit later. Good. Now we have all our IT organizations split in teams where they can do everything, from the first line of code till production. But we still had 2 silos in the company. We had the business, which was demanding to IT, saying, guys, we need this new functionality, and we need it now. And then IT had to deliver and to be in time with that. So we went one step further. Maybe some of you heard about Spotify. We took their model, how they are working. So we've adapted. So it's not just copying directly their model, because that doesn't work. It's not doing a copy-paste. Usually it's going wrong. Somewhere it's gonna go wrong. So we've created, we split our organization in tribes, which they have a single business purpose. For example, if we look at mortgages, we have one tribe which is dealing with mortgages. Inside that tribe, there are several squads which are helping to deliver that value. Mihai mentioned in the beginning about us as we are chapter leads. We are chapter leads, so we take care about people, but we are also engineers. So we have part of our time, we are a normal member of a squad. It's looking a little bit different, as the squads will not stay in the same formula with the same members for more than 12 or 18 months. So we change the people in order to deliver faster the business value that we want. So I'm dealing with dev engineers, so I'm one of the transversal lines there. So I have all the dev engineers in my tribe are working with me. Same it's for George on the operations. So to see it a little bit further, we had to do something for the engineers. So we had to encourage them to develop more and to become better. So we went to the Dreyfus model. If you remember, in the past we had a junior engineer, we had a medium engineer, and then we had a senior engineer, or even an expert in some companies. What we've done, we've translated the 3 levels in 5. And we are not looking only at technical skills, but we mainly look at observable behaviors. I'm going to take a short example on the novice one. you can make the link with a freshly graduated student. So it's someone that can deliver value, but he needs coaching and he needs help. We have done a lot of things. So we've moved from waterfall, we switched to Agile, to DevOps, and then with the Dreyfus. All of this we have done in order to be able that tomorrow we build one ING which has one experience and one foundation. Now, George will tell us a little bit more in detail what we have done to achieve this.
Now, before I'm going to dive into the topic, I will go back a bit to Spotify, because as we know, Spotify doesn't have one Spotify Mexico, one Spotify Germany, and one Spotify Japan. They have one platform which serves all the world, and of course, based on the region you're in, you're going to have different options and different settings. And now going back to our goal. So we are going towards rolling out one platform, one global platform. And the steps that we took to go in that direction were, first, as we saw earlier, we implemented the Dreyfus model, which means that now we have one set of skills and behaviors for our ops and dev engineers. We also implemented one assessment model, which means that instead of only me having an opinion about my engineers, Mihai has an opinion, then there are other peers that are having their own opinion, and at the end of the day, we're going to have a quite accurate assessment for our colleague. But in order to achieve all these big transformations, we also had to lay a bit of the foundation and to give the tools to the people. And in order to do that, we deployed one single learning platform. And basically this helped because during all these transitions, there were people that needed different sets of skills, and we were providing their trainings and courses that helped them achieve the goal. And all this going towards our idea to have the global one platform. And we started small. We started with Belgium and Netherlands. And now, with all the projects that are coming and all the projects that we're thinking of in the future, we are thinking to go global. So everything, the mentality is going global to one platform. And of course, during all these transformations, during all these transformations, we had many challenges. And I'm going to discuss a bit with you about the general challenges that we encountered. And then we're going to dive a bit in the continuous challenges and then explain a bit what are the challenges that we faced as chapter leads and the challenges that the management faces. So now going to the challenges, the general challenges. As we saw yesterday in many presentations, the main challenge that we face during such a major transformation is communication. Communicate, communicate, communicate. And in order to achieve a good communication, you need to first be transparent with the people and be clear in the message that you're sending. Because otherwise, if you leave space for interpretation, this will probably bounce back to you and to your organization in a very toxic way. And for us, a big challenge was also to change the mentality of the people. We had to explain to them that it's okay to fail. We're going to give you space to try things, to fail, to learn from it, and like that we advance together. And going back a bit to the people, we are a people company, and we work for people. We work for our customers. And for this, I'm going quickly to the challenges the continuous challenges that we are facing. We had business and IT, and yesterday we had a very nice presentation by the US Customs and Immigration Office, which explained perfectly the situation and the relationship between business and IT. And we had many challenges here. And with this mind shift that we tried to implement during this transformation, we made the people understand that unless IT and business work together, we will not be able to achieve a safe and compliant bank while delivering new features and better products for our customers. And now I will go back to the people. We are currently having around 15,000 engineers, which means that 1 out of 3 of our employees is an engineer. And they are serving, as Mihai mentioned earlier, around 38 million customers that trust us every day. And here there is a big challenge, because we need to keep all these engineers entertained and able to deliver great products. And for this, we're doing what most of the IT companies are doing these days. So we're organizing hackathons like the one you can see in the picture, We're organizing many internal conferences. We have different events to which we invite people that are coming from other companies like Google and Microsoft. And we also organize smaller events that are more focused at squad level or at multiple squad levels. Like, for example, a pizza day to solve different issues, or different drinks and different team buildings more at squad and tribe level. And now I'll explain a bit what are the challenges for us as chapter leads, because it's quite interesting and quite important to understand what is the chapter lead role. So in the past, before this transformation occurred, we had people managers and we had engineers. And all of a sudden, at a point, some of these people became chapter leads. What does a chapter lead mean? It means that you are part a people manager and part engineer. And the challenge here was that, of course, depending on their background, these people had some skills that were missing or were not properly developed. And in order to address this, we did several things. We started with the platform that I showed you earlier, where they could address the skills and register for courses and trainings to address the skills that they needed to develop. The second one was the support of the management. For example, Mihai, he supported his chapter leads in developing the skills that they needed, and if his chapter leads had some issues, if he didn't have the answer, because of course he doesn't know everything, he knew to whom to point them to get the right answer. And another big challenge that we are facing and all the management is facing right now is that we live in a VUCA world. Does anyone know what VUCA stands for? No?
Some of you.
Okay, maybe Mihai? You know?
This is like that trick where you try to make me look bad on the stage. Huh?
Exactly.
It comes. No, because we didn't.
It's not written here.
Yeah, so. It's not written there, and we didn't talk about it before. So it comes from volatile, uncertain,
complex,
and ambiguous. Yeah,
ambiguous,
complex and ambiguous. Don't do that next time. It's will look bad.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll not repeat.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. Just testing you. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that we're living in a very fast world. So if we look in life and in business, things are moving very fast. And in order to keep up the pace and to take proper decisions, we often don't see the whole puzzle. We're just going to have a few pieces, and we need to take a decision. And this is very challenging, and at least for us, it's very interesting, and we enjoy living in this world because it forces us to develop in order to get new skills and in order to have better decision, to make better decisions in the future. And just to explain a bit this slide. So during all this transformation, ING was like this boat. So we are all inside.
It is.
It still is, yeah. It still is. We were in this boat, and we had one goal. And now our goal is to go towards one global platform. And we don't really know how the boat is going to go, but we know that unless we work together, we're not going to reach there. And now I'm going to leave Mihai to explain a bit how it was for the managers of the managers.
Yeah, I do have the clicker,
okay.
Don't worry. So, yeah, what about the leader? So when we started this transformation, I was promoted from chapter lead to, let's say, the manager of managers. And I was asking myself, so what's my role from now on? Yeah. Everybody's talking about flat organizations, we don't need management, self-organizing teams, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I had, the last 3 years basically for me were, I have to find my way. I went to conferences, I read a lot of articles on internet, but nobody was really telling because I think nobody knows, what an engineering manager should do. For them it's simple, they go and they code, and the rest of the time they just do people management, yeah? But what about the above level? So then I came up with a couple of things during this. So I did an introspection, and during these three years, I came up with a couple of things that I'm going to share with you here on the slide. So we mentioned about it's okay to fail. I always support my chapter leads, my direct reports, to support their people to fail. I know it's very difficult to do because everybody fights here in this room for market share, but if we don't give space to engineers to try to innovate and to express themselves, we're not going to move forward. I do mentorship. As he said, I'm trying to help my chapter leads with the knowledge that I have to get them out of difficult situation, mainly on people management. The third thing, I'm trying to do coaching. The thing that we don't do as human beings is asking questions and listening. We tend only to say, yeah, I know that you have to do this because I did it before. I think it's more meaningful if you ask questions and if you make that person understand which way he or she should go. I'm an ambassador of my department, so I just told you proudly that my people are building software for the bank. I'm very proud of that. And I don't think we're doing it so often. Usually we don't talk so nice about our departments or this is what it's happening in our company. And last but not least, we don't celebrate achievements. I don't know how many of you do parties. We generally say, yeah, but this is normal. No, it's not normal. When we do something good, we should be proud of it. We should be happy and we should support the engineers that they did that thing. Yeah. And as a manager, I thought it's good to do those things. I also try to help the chapter leads to make sure that the teams are coherent. Because let's face it, for the basketball fans, if Chicago Bulls would have been made only of Michael Jordan, I don't think they would have won everything that they won. Sometimes we need a Dennis Rodman there, right? Or other types of players. And then I asked myself, how can we achieve all the things that I've just said to you? I think the most important thing is to get to know every member of your team. So I have a department of 70 people, and one of them is really in this room. Hello, Carlo. I do know a couple of things about himself. Yeah, I know a couple of things about themselves as well. I'm not faking it. So I know what they like, I know what they dislike, because this is how we build trust and how we improve the communication. And I know that maybe you have heard it before, but this is the reality. This is how it works. If you know your people, you're going to get more successful in solving their problems. And now I'm getting to the last point of do not take everything at face value. So whenever there is a conflict between two people, for example, if they have a conflict, because I do know them very well, I will be able to tell what the real problem is. Because of course I will have different stories, right? From both of them. But because I know them very well, I can solve that, or I can help them to solve the conflict more easier. And I'm gonna basically finish my introspection with the things that I think that any leader should have in a software company. Some of them you have read them in books, some of them you have heard on different other talks. But this is what I think that after 3 years of doing this transformation, we need to have as a people manager or as a leader of a company. I'm gonna take just 3 of them to talk about. I truly believe that emotional intelligence is important. You see that many times we have discussions, and even now when I'm talking to you, I'm able to see who is interested and who is not interested in my talk. Yeah. Now don't pretend that you are interested now that I told you, but it's very important when you go in a meeting to look around at people around the table and see what are their agendas and how they behave based on their non-linguistic behavior, if I can say so. You have to lead by example. Yeah, walk the talk. Don't just say to your teams, do this, if you're not doing it. You'd better not say it. It's fine. And I think last but not least is have courage. As a manager, you have to have the courage to do performance management. Whenever somebody in your teams or somebody in their teams is not behaving as we, as management, decide that they should behave, we should talk about that. We should tell them, we should give feedback, and we should help them, not just fire them. We should help them to go in the direction in which we want. Because sometimes people don't go in the direction where we want is because they don't understand the objectives. They don't understand the vision of the company. They don't understand the transformation. George talked about communication. So we have to help them. And we have to have the courage to talk to them about these things. We talked a lot about people and how we felt it as how we felt this transformation, but now I'm going to let Mihai to tell us a bit about the technical part. What did we achieve in these 3 years?
It's an achievement of our entire engineering community. So we managed to end up with a clear set of tools and technologies that we use in the company. The next 2 may sound a little bit weird for some of you, but now we have one version control and one pipeline, one CI/CD pipeline. When we mention about one, we are talking at ING Global, at ING Group. So in all countries, they can make use of it. I'm still an engineer, so the last two are representing myself quite well. I want to keep things simple. I don't want to have to do the same work in 3 places or even more than that. And honestly, I hate to do repetitive tasks. So we've agreed, all of them, and all the engineers came with that. If I'm doing something more than 2 times or 3 times in a certain period of time, we need to get rid of it. We need to make it faster and to make it to automate it in the end.
Just a small comment on this one. Again, if you are working in a software company, for you, all these things are, normal. We are a bank. We are highly regulated. We have to justify every single step that we have to do. So this is why we are so proud with these things, because we couldn't just do these things without having the acceptance of the ECB, the European Central Bank, for example.
We've talked about our engineer community, but let's see a little bit what we managed to achieve also for our customers, because it was not only about transforming a bank into a tech company. So somewhere before this transformation, we're talking about like 90 designs for our cards. Going globally, we've reduced that to only 8 designs at this moment. Then we've improved our existing services. It's not only just delivering new services and new functionalities, it's improving the existing ones. Why we have done that? We have only in Belgium and in Netherlands 7 million of interactions with our customers per day. So that means that we have 7 million chances to deliver a better service, a proper service, or we may fail a little bit. So the chances are big. So we paid a lot of attention there. Some things that we receive and we are proud from outside of ING. Last year we were named one of the best banks in the world. And we are doing something more than just banking and finance. We are investing also in new technologies, and we support others to grow. For example, ING has a nice fintech village where literally we help the startups to grow and to become bigger and better. That was for me. I will let George conclude
the conclusions, yes.
Before we wrap this up, we just want to give you some key takeaways that you can bring back to your companies. First one is fail fast, learn faster. This sounds quite cliche, but it's actually not. You really need to give space to your engineers, let them try things, let them fail, let them learn from it, and like that they can evolve together with you. The journey is not easy. Doing such a major transformation, it's not easy, but you need to bring everyone in the boat, as we saw earlier. You need to keep getting better and better. You need to empower your employees, and you should not wait too long, because if you do, you might not have too many chances until you become irrelevant. And conducting such a major change, such a major transformation, it's not easy to do. But unless you make everyone understand, from individual to teams, to the company level, that unless you do this, you will not be relevant in the future. And just to finish with one slide about ING, we strongly believe that at this point, we are becoming more and more a tech company with a banking license. And with this presentation, we wanted to, as Mihai mentioned earlier, we wanted to continue what our CIO presented to you 3 years ago at DOES London. And with this, we would like to thank you. And if you have any questions, we're open for you on Slack or after the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much.